Welcome to this guided meditation. The purpose of this meditation is to overcome addiction. If you are currently experiencing a craving, firstly recognize that a craving can only last for 20 minutes. If nothing else, simply breathe and run the clock down until the craving has passed. This too shall pass. If you can, find a space in which you feel you most likely won't be disturbed for the next 20 minutes or so. If it's possible to find a seated or laying position, this is preferred. Although, if this is not possible, it is okay. Begin by becoming aware of your breath. Allow the breath to rise and fall, and draw attention to the sensations of breathing. It doesn't matter what your thoughts and feelings are at this time. Instead, simply bring attention to the breath. Notice that thoughts and feelings continue to come and go. But for the duration of this meditation, simply don't engage or get involved with any thoughts or feelings. You do not have to get into an argument or a debate with your own mind. Instead, choose to leave the conversation. If you find that your mind has wandered and that your attention has become lost in a stream of thoughts, simply return your attention back to the breath. How does it feel to breathe? To draw the breath in and to let the breath go. Notice that all thoughts and feelings come and go. Some thoughts may be strong and have a physical sensation. Others may be smaller and lighter. But all thoughts arise within the same space of awareness. Treat all thoughts the same. Simply disengage by paying attention instead towards the breath. Begin to recognize the thoughts that are addictive in nature. You will find that your addiction can speak to you with words, images, even feelings and emotions. There may be strong cravings and desires. There may be a sense of excitement. There may be fear and despair. All of these thoughts and feelings will pass in time. They simply come and go. And you always have the power to pay attention instead to your breath. The breath is always available to you, regardless of what is going on in your mind. Begin to differentiate between the thoughts and feelings that you experience that are addictive in nature and those that aren't. See clearly that the fear about drinking or using is the addiction. Disengage from this fear. You have already decided not to drink or to use. So, what is the purpose of this fear? That fear is the addiction. Begin to separate yourself from these addictive thoughts. Recognizing that you are aware of these thoughts and feelings, you begin to see that you are not these thoughts and feelings. Even the strongest urge, desire, craving to drink or use is still just a thought or feeling. Draw attention instead towards the breath. Allow the breath to rise and fall. Nothing more complicated than this. Noticing thoughts such as, "This won't work for me," or "I'm never going to get it." These thoughts are also your addiction. You are able to observe these thoughts and not act on them. Do not get involved in any discussion or argument with your addiction. Your addiction can only survive and exist if it has your attention. Paying attention instead towards the breath. You will find that your mind periodically gets lost within streams of thought, wandering, fantasizing. Strong images, feelings, and physical sensations can continue to arise. And this is okay. This is just your body and mind playing out natural processes. For the duration of this meditation, pay no attention. Instead, pay attention only to the breath as it rises and falls. nothing to be done. Do not try to convince your addiction to go away. It will go away naturally of its own accord. Without your attention, it simply cannot survive. Reaffirm your decision not to drink, not to use, and notice that your addiction has a lot to say about this. Notice how subtle and sneaky your addictive thoughts can be. You may have thoughts such as, "We'll get to the end of this meditation, and then we'll go and drink or use anyway." You may have thoughts such as, "This isn't going to work." You may have thoughts such as, "Well, this is working right now, but what about later?" These thoughts are not you. These thoughts are your addiction, speaking to you. Like a dangerous criminal in a cage, and you have the key, the criminal will try and convince you in many different ways to be let out. This is also how your addiction operates. It can be threatening, convincing, persuasive, seductive. But once you have understood the trick, it is no longer a threat. The criminal remains safely locked inside the cage. Simply ignore, and you are safe. Return attention to the breath. Allow the breath to rise and fall. Feel the sensations of breathing, knowing that the breath is always available to you. Deepen your attention on the breath. Even the strongest thoughts, feelings, emotions, images, and physical sensations cannot pull your attention away from the breath. Recognize that your addiction can only speak to you in your mind. Your addiction cannot take control of your body. It may feel like it can at times, but this is an illusion. You are always in control. You always have a choice. Your power comes from understanding that your addiction can only attempt to convince you to drink or use. It can be so subtle that it masquerades as your own thoughts and feelings. You may feel as though you need alcohol or substances in order to cope with negative emotions. Recognize deeply that these negative emotions are being created by the addiction. The addiction does not solve the problems that it creates. Being fully established in abstinence is simply to recognize that you always have a choice and that you choose not to drink, you choose not to use, regardless of the circumstance, no matter what. Your addiction will reserve certain circumstances or scenarios in which it will be impossible to maintain abstinence. But this too is just your addiction trying to convince you. It is false. Continue to draw attention entirely to the breath. As simple as this. Even the strongest feelings rise and eventually fall. Truly differentiate, separate yourself from your addictive voice. The addictive voice is any thought, feeling, emotion, sensation, image, words that supports the idea that you will drink or use again. Now that you have seen it clearly for what it is, you are free from it. Simply place your attention elsewhere, on anything else, and the addictive voice must subside. You are not your addiction. In a moment, we will begin to bring ourselves out of the formal aspect of the meditation. But continue to breathe deeply and pay attention to the breath. Whatever you choose to do is always your choice. Truly know this. Stand firm in your decision not to drink, not to use. Well done. If you enjoy and benefit from my meditations, please consider becoming a paid subscriber. This goes a long way to supporting me and my work. I will be posting more content relating to overcoming addictions. Thank you for taking part in this meditation today. You have done so well to overcome this craving. Take care, be well, and stay present.